So I hear it's popular these days to go on Reddit, find some stories about something or other, entitled parents, nuclear revenge, porn. Okay, maybe not the last one, but I heard that it's popular to just, go ahead and read the stories aloud, and I kind of want to get in on that, because I like these kinds of stories. I like reading about them, I like hearing them, I even like to relay my own, so I'll probably sprinkle some of them in here, but this is specifically going to be about RPG horror stories, or RPG fun stories, or RPG experiences, because I love tabletop RPGs. After all, the entire premise of the channel was to summarize a live play show that I still adore. We've got a pretty good story here going for this first time into the world of crazy stories. TLDR, Kleptomaniac Rogue is literally incapable of not robbing people, and then gets defensive about playing the Thief subclass when told to stop. This post was posted by user TigerKirby215 on RPG Horror Stories. I've seen many stories on this sub and from various RPG horror story readers on YouTube about kleptomaniac murder hobo rogues, but I'm lucky to have never dealt with one before. Be it because the groups I play with are generally really chill, or the fact that most of my friends don't play rogues. But I've never had "I stabbed the shopkeeper and steal all his valuables" happen to me before. Note the use of the word "before," because after a one-shot, I did learn that in fact these types of players do exist. And yes, it is as awful as all the other stories lead me to believe. Now picture the cast. The DM, experienced as a player but DMing for the first time. Friend of a friend, the barbarian. The bard, me. Playing a bard because other players were rather inexperienced and shy, so I figured I could make the charisma rolls and do the talking for the party. Also, we needed a healer. The barbarian. A friend. Rather inexperienced with D&D, but heard stories from me and friend, DM, and wanted to try. Was actually the main reason the DM decided to try DMing. Playing a barbarian because they just want a simple class that I can do some cool stuff with. Warlock. Half-elf Pact of the Fiend Warlock. This is important later. Some random guy we found off the RLFG Discord. Pretty chill, and from what I've heard, DM and Barbarian still chat with them. The Rogue. The problem player. Another guy off RLFG, playing a thief rogue, important immediately. So the story starts with the Barbarian inviting me to a one-shot that his friend was hosting. I didn't have much to do, what with the happening and all, so I decided I may as well join in. I got to the server and met the DM as well as Warlock, who had joined as DM was talking on Discord about DMing for the first time. They said they were still looking for a fourth player and would discuss schedules after the fact. I gave the DM my schedule and told him I'd play whenever the party needed. A day later, DM finds Rogue and we schedule a session for a Wednesday night. The DM asked us to make third level characters so that we'd all have our subclasses. Barbarian made a Berserker Barbarian, Warlock made a Fiend Warlock, Rogue made a Thief Rogue, and I ultimately decided on a Lore Bard to help supplement the skills the party didn't have. The session comes, and we all meet at a tavern. Okay, cliche, but it's the DM's first time. We all describe where our characters would be in the tavern. Barbarian is at the bar drinking, I'm on stage singing songs. The Warlock is in the corner gambling, and I roll to sneak behind the bar. Why? The DM asks. But Rogue has already rolled stealth. 22! I sneak behind the counter! Of course the guy has expertise in stealth, and a 17 in dexterity thanks to his race. We made our characters with standard array. I start to politely object, voicing more for the DM's sake that you can't just announce you roll something without the DM giving you the okay to do so. But immediately, Rogue speaks up again. I want to steal the most expensive bottle of wine they have. DM tries to object, but Rogue's already rolled. 16! I steal the wine! Of course, this guy has expertise in sleight of hand as well. I can tell that the DM, at least being experienced as a player, isn't having this as he speaks up. Well, as you try to steal the wine in the middle of a crowded bar full of people, you realize that trying to steal the top shelf of bottles in an area surrounded by people isn't exactly hard to spot. Someone points you out to the barkeep, who grabs you and asks you what you're doing. Barbarian tries to play this off by joking about clearly he's just trying to pour everyone around. But Rogue was screaming in the chat about how, "I rolled a 16, how did anyone see me? That's stupid!" As much as I was already starting to get wary of Rogue, I didn't want the DM's one-shot to immediately fall apart, so I decided to butt in to defuse the situation with my charisma. Warlock, seeing as the rest of the party was seemingly starting to meet up, also joined to ask what the fuss was about. The three of us tried our best to reason with Barkeep in character to let the Rogue off easily, but the whole time Rogue was arguing out of character about how, "I'm playing a thief, why am I not allowed to steal things?" DM eventually got sick of all this and told us that while you were arguing you hear a loud boom outside, and he even played an explosion sound effect through a Discord music bot. Good on him! Good on him. Rogue continued to complain about Warlock, saying, "Dude, shut up," as the DM described how we could see people running through the streets in a panic away from something. We all head out of the tavern, if only to get Rogue away from anything that wasn't nailed down, and we see a huge platoon of airships looming over the city. The DM describes how huge shadows loom overhead, and we can see goblins jumping off of rope ladders to attack townsfolk below. This is pretty cool, I thought. DM then told us that we were the only ones capable of getting onto the airships to stop them. Again, a little railroady, but it was his first time. He told us that we each had 100 gold to try and buy things, and that the shopkeepers would sell us things at pretty much any price we asked, within reason, because of the commotion. The group started talking about what we could use. Maybe grappling hooks to try to pull ourselves onto the ships, maybe some flaming arrows to set the ships on fire. After a lot of debate and some input from the DM making quick homebrew items, we decided to spend most of our gold on grappling hook crossbows to shoot onto the ship and climb up. We figure that we need to go to the weapons store to buy crossbows and the general goods store to buy grappling hooks and rope. We go to the general goods store and ask for grappling hooks. The DM flat out gives them to us and tells us to subtract gold from our sheets. Then Rogue, who had thankfully been quiet up to this point, speaks up again. "What else does the shopkeeper have there?" Well, there's some healing potions, a shield, a few spell scrolls. He lists, assuming that Rogue wants a general idea of what he could buy. Here we go. "I jump over the counter and steal all of it. 15 acrobatics and 18 sleight of hand." The voice call immediately explodes. Warlock and I start screaming at Rogue, "We have gold! Why would you want to rob this person? We're trying to stop airships or whatever. Why are you trying to join in on the looting?" Now, Rogue could have said something about us needing the supplies or how we plan to pay them back later or whatever, if he was smart. But no. Instead, Rogue immediately began shouting back, "My subclass is called Thief! Why am I not allowed to steal?" I immediately explode, shouting back, "Warlock is playing a fiend warlock, so I guess that makes him a literal devil, right? Just because your subclass is called Thief doesn't mean you can steal everything you see." Rogue tries to object further, but the DM server mutes him. For the sake of the story, I'm going to say that you do somehow rob the shopkeep, and they don't somehow stop you, and that somehow there's no guards or anything nearby. But I'm telling you right now that if you try to loot anywhere else, I'm kicking you from the server. Rogue went silent even after they were unmuted. We head to the weapons store and the DM describes how the shopkeeper is handing us whatever they can to people quickly searching for something to defend themselves, giving away their product at a massive discounted, "I rolled to steal a rapier! 18 stealth!" Sorry. Give me a minute. Everyone, even Barbarian, who is generally a quiet person, started yelling at the Rogue, screaming about how idiotic it is to rob a weapons store filled with people who are armed. The DM, true to his word and his credit, proceeds to mute everyone and narrate. As the Rogue runs behind the counter to take a weapon they already have, the shopkeeper speaks up. As they try to run out of the store, a burly man armed with a battle axe hits the Rogue in the face, knocking them over. Before they can object, they're tied up and gagged by the store's patrons. And with that, you are banned from the server. And Rogue is promptly removed from the Discord call. The DM unmutes us all and we proceed to talk about what the hell just happened. I detail how I thought people like that were made up and Warlock jokes about, welcome to RLFG. Barbarian's just generally upset that people wouldn't try to roleplay a sane person in a role-playing game. We looked through the server's text chat to see a barrage of messages from Rogue before they were kicked. WTF, I'm playing a rogue! Stop punishing me for playing my character! You're a shit DM! D&D is a game about doing whatever you want! You're just making your DMPCs fight all the players because you want to win! I rolled an 18th for stealth. They wouldn't have you seen me. Oh no, we're not fucking saying that. No, fuck you, Rogue. Especially for using that word. Fuck you. Sorry, I got very heated there for a moment. But seriously, if you use that kind of fucking language, shut the fuck up. Just shut your fucking mouth. Shit DM, shit DM, shit DM, shit DM, shit DM, shit DM, shit DM. DM takes all the shit DM comments pretty well, but is still bummed out that what was meant to be a 4-player adventure is now down a player. I tell him that we'd still probably be okay if we were all level 4, and he reluctantly agrees, letting us quickly give ourselves an ASI before continuing our adventure. And we continued, and it was pretty awesome. We fought a bunch of goblins on the airship before fighting 2 bugbear bodyguards and a hobgoblin. When we beat the hobgoblin captain, we stopped the raid and we were declared heroes. The DM asked us how it went, and the warlock jokingly commented about how the boss fight with the kleptomaniac rogue was pretty fun, which got a laugh out of everyone. He asked us if we wanted to maybe do a full campaign or at least some more one-shots, but I unfortunately had to decline due to my personal schedule. However, Warlock said he'd be willing to play, and Barbarian was obviously very eager to keep playing with some very nice players. I'm just shocked at the near obsessive levels of kleptomania that the rogue had and how mad he got when he was punished for his actions. I've seen some players play kleptomaniacs before, but they'd always RP their compulsive stealing and try their best to have other players be around to stop them. And these players accepted that being caught was part of the fun of playing these types of characters. If you want a game where you can take everything right out of underneath someone's nose without any consequences, just go... Todd Howard! Just go play Skyrim and put buckets on people's heads. Don't play D&D and force a DM to do whatever a video game could do instead. D&D is a game where you can do anything you want. Sure, within a reason. D&D is a game where multiple players come together and craft a story that's fun for everyone. If you're out here just being like, I do this, and then roll a dice without even getting any sort of prompting from your DM, it's kind of like going to a sandwich shop, jumping over the counter and saying, I'm gonna make this sandwich. You're gonna get kicked out eventually, and your mother's gonna be quite upset with you because she just came to Walmart for, her medicine, and you just had to jump the barrier at Subway to try to make yourself a fucking Italian BMT. That ruins the experience for everyone, especially the DM. The DM's the guy who's just trying to help you craft the story, and if you're doing this shit, the stupid fucking rogue shit that this guy thought was really cool, if you're doing that, then what's the fucking point? No one's having fun. You're having fun, sure, but the game isn't about you. The game is about us. It's about community. It is about having fun together. And also, seriously, don't use ableist slurs like that. Fuck you, rogue. You don't get to play D&D anymore. I'm banned. You know what? Official decree. People who use ableist slurs like the R word and stuff like that, and slurs in general, you're banned from playing D&D now. That's my decree. You can't really do anything about it. Anyway, that was pretty fun. I really enjoyed reading that story, and I hope that you enjoyed my silly little interpretation of it. Right, if you enjoyed this is just the tip of the iceberg with the content that we have here on this channel. Be sure to like and subscribe for more fun RPG related madness, video game related madness, sometimes even a dash or two of the professional grapple boys. And catch you on the next one. Until then, stay turned, my friends.